Good evening or grid evening, everybody. I hope you're all having a wonderful Monday. I hope you're all out there grid maxing, just having a good time, and now you're here with us.
Grid maxing.
Shout out. Grid
Hello,
maxing.
everyone.
I just came up with that before we went live, so.
You know, why not?
It's a good time. It's been a while since we've been live, and for good reason.
There's a cat underneath me.
Oh, are we already getting to baloney hours?
Give me a bone.
Already. How's everything looking? Once we turned off the last live stream that we did, I haven't looked at it since. So, so there's that. Despite us doing our regular videos.
Shout out to the mods that are here.
Grid maxing. Oh, yeah. Song
Hannah
of Solace.
and Song of
Hannah.
Solace.
I know Sage was here earlier. Thank you guys for doing what you do. We love it. And
Jen,
of course,
Fundy Fridays is here.
How could we forget Jen Fundy Fridays?
Seeing lots of folks we have seen before, and I see also lots of new people that I don't necessarily recognize.
Come here, Baloney.
Baloney is playing with the bottom of my pants.
Your tattered pants.
My tattered pants.
That she's had since high school.
I'm sorry.
They are threadbare.
They are, but I refuse to get rid of them. They're like the first pants I bought with my own money when I was in high school.
You love them. Also, when she goes up the stairs, they're pretty see-through, so.
I don't wear them anywhere, so.
Oh, no. They're never out in public.
It's
That's
just
for sure.
here.
We do have the best mods.
We do have the best mods. We also have the best members
Jen.
and patrons. There's probably patrons in here, but there's also YouTube members in here that get the little cute badge next to their name. If you would like a little cute badge next to your name, you can become a member.
Hold on, let's get the zoom in. Tell the people. Whoops, wrong person. There we go.
That's me.
Let me fix this. Hold on. There we go.
Look at that cheeky tail.
Cheeky little tail.
What do you have to say,
Let's get this a
Baloney?
little bitter. Yeah, what do you have to say for yourself, dude?
Oh, Tom's talking now.
What do you have to say, little cheeky tail? He's so cute. I love him. Even though he gives me the cold shoulder every day of my life.
Happy birthday, Melissa.
Welcome to the birthday stream for Melissa. Shout out.
You've been binging our videos and you had a dream about baloney last night? That's iconic.
That is
I am obsessed
iconic.
with that.
I love that.
That's amazing.
I don't even think I've ever had a dream about baloney.
I don't know that I have either.
Sorry,
I had a dream
baloney.
the other night that David Archuleta was in love with me, like confessed
Oh,
his
yeah.
love to me, which is ironic because that's not even accurate. So I don't know what that was about. But thank you to all of you who are here. Thank you to all of our members and patrons who support us in being able to make this content.
Look at all those badges of all the YouTube members.
We love
here.
you so much.
It's so funny because we gave everybody the custom badges. I have no idea what they mean.
I have no idea what they mean either.
We just assigned them
They all mean
so
different
they
things.
look cool, but I'm sure it would say if I clicked on you or whatever.
It's for how long you've been with us.
Yeah.
So
Your tenure it represents.
yes, like
so.
how long you've been here. So I appreciate all of you, all of our members. Julie, Jess, The Void, Meredith, Kelsey, T Froggy, Sparkling Glass Slipper, lots of people who have been here a minute, and also our other peeps that are non-members who have been here a minute too. Like
And
Rebecca, Morgan might be okay. Lots of names I still recognize, which is good.
Haley Dominguez.
Tim,
Welcome
of course.
to the Celestial Kingdom.
Fernando, Mommy of Kittens. Just as a few examples. We appreciate each and every one of you. And obviously there's exclusive content and things to watch like bloopers and Cooking with McKay if you'd like to become a member. Thank you, Haley Dominguez, for doing that just now.
And actually, we were literally sitting down talking about it. But we want to do a Mormon movie night on July 31st. We decided we're never putting dates to things, so now we're putting dates to it. July 31st. It's a Wednesday. We'll probably go live at this time. Jen does it on her Discord. I think we're going to go ahead and do it on Discord because it seems like it's the best way to do it. So
So if you'd like to participate in that, you can be any tier member, any tier patron will be able to participate. So lowest tier is just $3 a month. If you'd like to participate, you just have to join by July 31st, and we will start that evening. So stay tuned for what movie we're going to be watching. It'll be some weird, bizarro Mormon movie. We have a bunch.
A couple of them.
Baloney.
Should we showcase them real quick?
Yeah, we can show them.
I've got them just around the corner.
Carrie Ann says, who is a member, says the bloopers are worth every penny. Thank you. They are usually terrible when I watch them back. Alexis, for your birthday? Yes. Happy birthday. Early birthday, Alexis. And Sage is here. Hello, Sage.
Oh, yeah. I will put really kind of borderline embarrassing things in the bloopers. We
Honestly,
really do.
He really pushes it with bloopers sometimes.
I really push
He's like,
it.
should I include this? And usually my answer is no. And then I come around to it. But
It's nothing like, yeah. Thanks. This is one of my, 7 full of hell shirts. I have a bunch of them. Okay, anyway. I bought this box set when Jen and James were in town.
back when we were living in Utah.
Yeah, when we were living in Utah, and we've just never gotten around to them. Let me zoom in so maybe we can. Faux family home evening. We've got the singles ward, the home teachers, the RM, church ball, and one other one I can't read, the singles second ward. So those are the options.
Lots of weird movies. Maybe we'll do a poll.
I think we'll do a poll.
You guys can pick.
Yeah, that way everybody gets a fair shot. I am partial to, I don't want to swing the vote, so I'm partial to one of these movies, but
I haven't seen any of them.
really?
Mm-mm. You guys
That's
have
crazy.
seen the Mormon movie that I'm obsessed with. Lots of you. If you aren't a member,
yeah.
you can go watch our Saturday's Warrior.
These are all they fall under the umbrella of Mormon comedy.
Mm-hmm.
What is there to laugh
What
at?
is Mormon comedy?
A lot of not okay things usually, but we just want to showcase.
Rebecca, to answer your question, I did finally read Powerless, and I did actually really like it. I was skeptical because everybody has very strong opinions on it. But I really liked it. It was really good. I haven't read the sequel yet, but I heard that came out a few days ago, so I will be getting around to that.
Nice.
You told your therapist about Saturday's Warrior? That's iconic. I should probably tell my therapist about Saturday's Warrior. That's probably affected me in some way.
Any Mormon adjacent person who's seen Saturday's Warrior has told their therapist about it. I guarantee it.
I mean, it's what
been
you
subjected
take
to
from
it.
Saturday's Warrior. It's the messaging that you take from it that is from Mormon doctrine. That's oh, that's concerning.
Yeah.
Most things. My therapist isn't Mormon, so most things that I tell her, she's like, huh?
Yeah, when you apply it to the thinking of recent events, things that we've talked about recently too, it's pretty bleak when you think about it. So
Juniper says, how do I get such perfect winged eyeliner? If I got really close to the camera and showed you, you would see that it is nowhere near close to perfect.
do you want me to zoom in?
I guess you can if you want. It's bad. I always do one that's
Everybody
okay.
tell Jordan that she's wrong.
Here, you can kind of see. They're definitely not even. You can see this one.
She does a
little
good
bit
job.
thicker.
She's being modest.
There's I've seen people who use stamps. They have little triangle stamps where you just put it on there and do it. I used to, when I worked at Ulta in high school, and I used to use tape to get my winged eyeliner perfect. I would use just regular tape, and I would put it on my face so I would get the perfect line. But I'm too lazy for that now, and so I just do my best and hope nobody looks very closely at my eyes. So it's fine. It's fine. And yes, I changed my hair. So many of you leave nice comments about both of our hair, really. But ever since I colored it, you guys seem to like this color, which I appreciate because it is darker than my usual, but much closer to my natural color. So
we love it.
Let's see. Sisters, not twins, literally. Same thing with my eyebrows.
Hi, sisters.
Hi, sisters. There was another comment that I was going to respond to, but I forgot what it was. But anyway, we don't have a very super intense plan for today. Our idea was to just kind of answer any questions, catch you guys up on what's coming up for us and what our plan is. And then just kind of vibe with any other topics that you spelled that wrong that comes up. Oh, there you go. It auto-corrected.
Oh.
And so that was just kind of our plan. So if you have specific questions, let us know. But I figured we'd tackle like what's upcoming for the channel. We are also open to ideas because one of the things that I've brought up to McKay a few times is we are approaching 100K. I mean, we're at like 92.5 right now.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. So it's not like we're starting this tomorrow by any means. But we talked about it would be maybe interesting to do like some kind of fun things as we get close to 100K. So if you have ideas on things we could do, whether they be like live stream activities or like certain video topics.
I'll take pies for 100K.
You know, something exciting that we've maybe never done before, just like as we get ready to reach 100K, which is like bonkers.
I floated the idea of like some new merch because we essentially since moving here have just not done anything with our merch or anything like that.
It's true.
So
that's an option also. But yeah, if you're here, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. It's been a lot of hard work since we've started our YouTube channel, so we appreciate all your efforts.
Salud Hydration. They have an horchata flavored one. That sounds
that's interesting.
Fucking fire. I'm pretty dicey when it comes to
Fundy Fridays Grid 2. I would be down
Grid
for
2 Electric Boogaloo.
Well, Halloween, as much as everybody else is in denial about it, Halloween is approaching. So
it is.
It will be time for our annual Fundy Fridays collab stream. Good God.
As usual.
Or maybe we have some other ideas in store for a Fundy Fridays collab, but we'll keep you posted on that.
I don't know why I winked.
As Jen is texting me, but
that's why
we'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Also, a bunch of people were asking about the Sims streams and where they went. Jordan not privated. They're unlisted right now because she wanted to redo the
I was going to redo the thumbnails.
And then we never did. Forgot. So I put right now in the chat a playlist of them all. That way they don't have to be on our channel, but they are on our channel.
Yeah.
And you can find them. So if you wanted to watch those, they were kind of short-lived.
Julie, I appreciate you. Thank you.
We're not as good at playing The Sims as people like Jen are.
Yeah, Jen recently did a Sims video if you haven't watched it. Those are some of my favorite Jen videos.
She's awesome. So, and she does them a lot more in-depth and stuff like that. So no shade to Jordan at all.
No, I am not. I'm just not consistent enough. My Sims playing goes through like really intense phases where I will do it for like days straight for like a week, and then I won't touch it again for like 6 months. So it's hard to be consistent.
Well, and recently she was like, I'm going to play The Sims. And then she didn't even get it past the character creation.
No.
After she got mods situated, she was like, eh.
I feel like I'm just in a space right now where, I don't know, I feel like I'm still in burnout recovery partially. And so I have to be very careful with the things that I do, because if it's too much mental stimulation, then my brain's just like, no. So we've just been binge watching Modern Family. And that's been my fixation as of late.
Let's go over why we've been absent in case people weren't around for or aren't on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is, I will plug it right. Just got an Obama ad. No way. Is he doing ads for Biden now? Interesting. So if you are not following our Instagram, I am personally offended. So I am peer pressuring you right now. I never push Instagram too hard, but I am pushing it now because we just do so many updates on Instagram.
She's judging you.
I'm judging you. Go follow our Instagram. It's at Jordan McKay right now. I'm looking at you.
This is peer pressure.
Because we ask for topics
right now
and things.
Yeah, we went over there and you put a question box in and asked what people wanted to talk about. So
Yes.
the audio's lagging. Oh, of course. It always ends up lagging. Sorry.
So go follow us on Instagram because I ask for feedback on things and it helps in our decision making. So go follow us on Instagram if you so desire. Thank you. That is the end of my TED Talk. Okay, what were you going to say?
Why don't you, because people don't follow us on Instagram, give a quick update as to why we've been absent on the streams.
If you don't have Insta, you are free from this requirement. Never fear. So the reason we have largely, I mean, it kind of overlaps with my hysterectomy. So I decided to get a hysterectomy, and so there was the recovery portion that like kicked out a lot of things. And then I got partially burned out from YouTube. And so McKay and I kind of had to make a decision between live streams and like recorded content, because I don't necessarily have a preference for either of those. And a lot of the time I do feel like interacting live with you guys is easier. But in terms of like growth for our YouTube channel, what brings in like new people to watch our stuff is like our recorded videos.
Yeah.
So that ended up being kind of why we've been focused more on that direction, because I find that because I work full time and he's a working dad full time, our energy level after doing our jobs like tanks pretty badly.
Yeah.
So it's like we had to make a decision between the lives and the recorded videos. So what we've kind of concluded is that we'll do a live stream once a month at least for everyone. And then we've been trying to do weekly or every other weekly videos at the same time. So you're still getting like regular content. It's just not in the form of a live stream. And when we do live video, like when we do regular recorded videos, we're always live in the chat. So I know it's not the exact same because we're not necessarily like interacting with you in like video format like we are here, but we do talk to you guys in chat. So if you're able to watch premieres, like that's a great way to interact with us when we're not doing live streams.
Yeah. And it's always, I mean, the conversation's always great in those live streams.
Yeah.
And even in the comments section. I'm reconsidering dandelion tea, if that is anything. But we don't even have any dandelions around here anyway.
No, we don't.
So it's like...
So that's why. But people have asked about my recovery, and I'm doing a lot better. Fatigue kicked my ass there for a while. I'm like 14, 15 weeks out of surgery at this point. My surgeon said it would be like 6 months to a year before I felt fully back to normal, which is like cool.
But even then, she has had more energy than she ever has. Like since we've been dating, really. Like to be able to go hiking is something that a year ago was not feasible at all. And we've gone regularly this summer, just going wherever, any chance that we get. So
it is an improvement. It's hard for me to see because I hold myself to like leaps and bounds instead of what's actually realistic. But there has been an improvement, and obviously I don't have pain as significantly anymore. Like I'll get something occasionally because I still do have one ovary, but beyond that,
even then,
it's
ever since you weaned yourself off of post-surgery medication and pain control, usually Jordan would have to have some sort of like prescription pain control whenever she would have her period. And ever since she weaned off of those
like
ones,
Advil.
Like the 800 milligram, whatever. But ever since she weaned off of that, it was just, she's been a lot better. So
yeah. So it's a massive improvement. I'm still getting back to, I'm trying to figure out what my new normal is now. And so, but we're just regularly tired because YouTube is not our full-time job, and we both have other full-time jobs and our parents at the same time. So
yeah.
So it's very exhausting, and I'm very tired still. But nonetheless, it's getting better. So thank you to everyone who has been asking about my recovery. I appreciate it.
And Kazoo's been sick lately, so that's always
and
always
Kazoo
fun.
got some kind of cough all over my face virus. So he's been sick for the last few days.
So we've been tied to the house since last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Y'all's video was a huge bright spot for me during a stressful week, and I appreciate it. Awesome. That one, that was so like mixed emotions on that one.
Yeah.
You should do a travel log video of all the Mormon holy sites in the Midwest.
If we didn't have a kid, I think we would absolutely do that.
And I want to be 100% clear, and if Jen is still in the chat, then she knows I full on anticipate taking a trip to Nauvoo at some point with Jen and James.
Yes.
Because Nauvoo is just something else. Like, not only is it like just this little goofy little Mormon town, but it is a living museum that they use missionaries to run, and they are all like cosplaying. It's crazy. Not like young missionaries. It's usually like adult couple missionaries, but still.
Yes, that is the eventual plan.
That I've always wanted to do that. As soon as Jen and James became our friends, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're not that far from there," I was like, "That would be fucking cool, dude." Because they could just meet up with us in St. Louis and drive out there. It's not too far from St. Louis.
So that's the eventual plan. It's just childcare makes that very
that's
difficult.
Not something that we would want to take the little one along with us. It would be a little bit
Plus nobody wants to, adults don't want to listen to those missionaries drone on about Nauvoo, and let alone a child, so.
Yeah. Anyway, it's like, Colonial Williamsburg, I think. I've never been, but from what I've heard about Colonial Williamsburg, it's kind of like that. They have like a blacksmith, and he makes little nails that they turn into prairie diamond rings, and they have like little carriage rides that take you down the equivalent of the Mormon Trail of Tears. I think they even call it the Trail of Tears, which is fucking insane, by the way, considering all the shit that they did to indigenous people on their way out west. And when they were established and everything like that. So
Mormons do like their cosplay. That is true.
Yeah, it's extensive. And I guess I didn't even think about the all the acquired shit that they just got from the Community of Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Including the red brick store, which previously was not part of the church's property. It was part of the Community of Christ's property.
So it's a good thing that we'll go in like a few years' time, because then we'll be going when they have all that stuff back from the other church.
Not that I necessarily want that to happen. But
no, I don't either, but, you know, it is what it is at this point.
I feel like maybe I should... I think they call it the Trail of Tears.
Could be wrong.
I remember specifically that it's the Trail of... Maybe it's the Trail of Hope. But I remember they specifically kind of related it to that. And I was like, what?
Welcome, Kelsey's partner. Hello.
My partner's going to watch the stream with me. Whoa, baby's first, Jordan and McKay. Let's go. Welcome to Kelsey's partner. Shout out. Welcome to the madness, the grid.
Yes.
You're on the grid.
Okay, so speaking of what's upcoming.
Melissa's asking about the potato.
I haven't looked at it in a minute, actually.
Yeah, because it had to go in the garbage.
Did it? Why?
It was gross.
Did it get gross?
It was gross, yeah, unfortunately.
We kept it on the desk for a while, and then we
it got all shriveled. I probably should have put it in some soil or something.
The cats tried to eat it.
Almost immediately.
And so we put it somewhere where we weren't really paying attention to it because we didn't want Tom and Baloney to eat it. It's been on a whole journey, so who knows where it is now. But thank you,
I had
Melissa.
to throw it away because it was...
Well, who knows where it is now, because it could be composting
landfill.
Somewhere in a landfill.
Probably.
Maybe a
we
special
don't have
landfill.
A compost.
I don't know.
Probably not. Unfortunately. I wish it had a better fate, but...
It was still very cute and we loved it. Okay, so... what was I talking about? Oh, upcoming videos. So, one that I have planned, and
not even planned. It's mostly there. We just need to record it tomorrow.
Well, I was talking about the one before that.
Oh.
We had plans to do an update video on Brooklyn and Bailey, because we have not updated them since both of them were like fairly actively Mormon. And it's one of our like most viewed videos. I know people are like super into Brooklyn and Bailey for whatever reason. So we figured we'd do an update on them because there's also some things that we didn't cover when we covered them initially that other people have pointed out that are probably worth discussing.
This is for Melissa. Sorry, I just remembered where it was.
Potato
sticker.
And so that is our plan. That will probably be next week or the following week. And then currently my DMs blew up on Instagram with Michaela Skinner and her nonsense. And so once I started watching it and like looking into it, I was like,
damn.
I was like, okay, you really stepped in it this time, didn't you? Because I've never been a big Michaela Skinner fan. She's rubbed me the wrong way for a few different reasons. But nonetheless, she is a Mormon influencer. Like, and I didn't know, like, I haven't looked at anything from her in like a long time. So I didn't even know if she was still active Mormon, because lots of times we talk about these people and then they're not even, like Amber Filler Up's like not even Mormon anymore. And so we talk about these people and then they change, right? So I was like, maybe she's not even Mormon. And then I looked it up and I got a bunch of DMs and everybody was like, oh no, she's still like hardcore Mormon. And so like the more I dove into like her previous stuff and I knew there were like past controversies and things, like the more I started diving into it, I was like, okay, this probably just needs its own video at this point. So we're going to be doing a Mormon influencer, Michaela Skinner coverage. So we'll be talking about obviously why she's in hot water right now and her dumbass apology that she made. And then we'll be talking about kind of the role of Mormonism, her relationship with some MLMs, which I have found interesting and which she's actually been called out for. And so that will be coming this week. We're filming that tomorrow.
It's funny too. Anytime anybody brought up Michaela Skinner up until like in the past 2 weeks, I thought they were talking about Michaela Maroney.
Which we will clarify that in the video because there are two Michaelas. They are both like white and blonde and look somewhat similar.
But we don't want to disparage the name.
But we are not talking about Michaela Maroney.
And her little meme face that was popular for like a decade.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is what is on the docket.
Perfect. Do we want to go? Why don't you pull up the Instagram questions? But first, I wanted to show everybody something that I came across this morning, and I thought
Can
it
you
was
fix our lag, or is it YouTube?
mega wild. I don't know that there's anything that we can do right now. Hold on. Let's take a look. I might be able to.
Look at all you people who followed us.
It's performance mode. Maybe we put it in performance mode for a hot minute. I don't think that changes anything.
What does that do?
I don't know. Maybe it just helps the performance.
Preview is disabled.
So okay. A lot of people's audio is lagging. Is what it is. Yes, Nara Smith is Mormon. We're kind of deciding what or if we want to do with Nara Smith. So I don't want to say stand by, but stand by on that one. It'll be a little. Has it improved at all? Let me know. I've never put it in performance mode before.
What is performance mode? I don't really know.
People are liking the story. Don't do that. Let's lighten up my notifications. Let me just kill this real quick.
Okay. We'll see if that's any better.
Lagging by like a half second. That's bad in my opinion. Can we shift the audio? Has it been lagging the whole time? Because I just periodically see people saying it and then.
So I don't know if it's like a coming and going thing or not.
Yeah. Sync offset. Is that the.
It says 0.
Maybe let's put. People are saying.
Doesn't that make it
bigger,
though? Half a
second. Oh, wait. Can we go negative? I don't think we can go negative, can we?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, we can go negative. Okay.
I don't know that actually does anything, though.
We'll see. Well, if people are saying like a half a second, maybe we can go to like -300 and see how that is.
People are saying
What are the people saying?
You're not lagging for me. No lag for most of it. Lagging the whole time. Not lagging for me anymore. I haven't noticed it.
God. So mixed reviews is what I'm getting.
So everybody has a different experience. Okay.
God.
Little to no lag for me.
Which is tough because sometimes it truly is just YouTube, and in
like
which
what
case
you're
I'll
watching
never be able
on,
to figure
or-
that out, or, you know, everybody's having a different experience. Or maybe some people are more perceptive to it, or it's, you know, it's hard to say. No lag. Okay. Some people are saying there's lag.
Not as bad. That
Now
made it
mouths are
worse.
faster. Oh,
No
shit.
lag for
Okay.
me. What did you do?
Let's just take that back then.
Comes and goes. Someone
If it comes and
said-
goes, then I bet it's YouTube. Unfortunately. Which
Someone said this
sucks
happened to
for us.
H3 recently. Okay, which makes me think it's a YouTube issue.
Damn. Okay. I just put it back to 0. We'll call it like it is.
I'm sorry.
Lag.
YouTube sometimes is
We'll just make us small for this. I was going to show you guys something anyway.
the bane of my existence.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Can you see this? We're in the wrong fucking... What did I do here? Why is
You
this
put
here?
it in a tiny screen.
That one is supposed to have... Jordan on location. Oh, I switched it up so you could do it from bed. I forgot about that. Let me
Did
get
you
this.
fix it? Someone said mouths move at the speed of lightning.
Oh, God. Brianna said I don't notice it now. Okay, so people are saying that it is.
Now it's better. YouTube's being a
Okay.
butt. Yep, that's fair.
YouTube being a little butthead.
You see the trees. Okay,
Jordan
we're
on
making
location.
progress.
Why is
Tweez.
this?
Tweez.
Can we delete this?
Hello.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
I don't know what's happening. Hello.
We're going here. Damn. Open this up.
Not
That's
sure
what I
what's
need to get rid of.
happening.
I didn't notice this was in here still. Sorry, folks. And then we got to change the display capture.
Technical difficulties.
We're getting it fixed. Thank you for your patience. Then we go to this. Nope. Samsung. There we go.
Tum tum.
There we go. Now you guys can see the national shame. It's
Okay.
pandemonium up in here.
There we
Okay,
go.
anyway, this is what I wanted to show.
Are we gonna get copyright claim for this?
No. This is a YouTube video.
All of them are YouTube.
I'm going to keep the audio off because I don't fucking care.
Okay.
But this was just last week for the 4th of July
What
show.
is this?
Well, I'll explain more, but did everybody see the people getting airstruck at the fucking Stadium of Fire at the BYU Stadium
I
on the
did.
4th of July?
I did.
It's not cool, but it is, I mean, it is crazy that it was in Utah. So if you look, you can see some familiar faces here. Speed this up a smidge, but they're assembling this statue in front of one of the stadiums.
This is Utah.
Welcome to Utah, everybody.
Thank you. I think
And
we're going
they
to unveil it right
this
now. So
statue, right?
that's who we are. We're a
All
nonprofit
my
organization.
my former Mormons and
501c3.
people.
We're
Jordan,
building up
that
in
is
Heber
up.
10 acres of a sculpture park, which is about the founding of America.
Scotland the Brave.
Also
You mean
about the
praise
stories
to the
and
man?
the teachings of the Savior.
'Cause I'm sure
Also,
they-
some stories from the Book of Mormon. It's 10 acres. There are over
From the
71
pipes.
sculptures. This is the first one we're going to put
I really
on there.
hate them for.
If you
Ooh.
look at it,
So they're
that's-
unveiling
yes,
this
that's Moroni.
statue,
You got to come over
right.
here to see the title of Liberty. And
Now that I've left you all in suspense, this is the unveiling of it. But here is the smaller version of the statue. This is from a statue park, I guess. I don't really know what to call it, but the place is called Monument of the Americas. It's out there in Utah. They have like a whole, I don't know, it says the parks. So there's like, I don't know if this is just planned and they don't have it done yet or what the situation is. But this is the statue that they were unveiling. This is called the Title of Liberty, as the YouTube video suggested. But you can see all kinds of American heroes, quote unquote. Oh, hold on. Let me get Baloney in here for you guys.
I don't know what he's doing.
Here, let me.
This is just
Look at this little ham here. Look at this just ham hock over this way.
Cheeky tail, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared.
You should be scared. He's
He's doing cheeky tail right now, which means he wants to play. You guys probably can't hear me because I'm not near my mic.
Anyway, let's go back here. Should we go back to performance mode? So you've got George Washington right here, which I don't know why particularly George Washington.
Holding a baby.
Baby.
Oh, hold
it is
up
a newborn
infant America.
The infant. Oh God. Okay.
So that he may take hold of the flag.
And then we have Lady Liberty, who is notably fake. That brings our total to 2 people on this that are just completely fake. Desert Storm Soldier. 3 soldiers represent the countless men and women who have fought for America to maintain liberty for themselves and others. We have Soldiers of American Wars, which is...
Desert Storm, isn't it?
Oh, that's just Desert Storm, Civil War, and World War II. There you go. We're just skipping over some people. But most notably, up on top, hoisting a flag a la Iwo Jima. I don't know how to pronounce it. We have Captain Moroni with the Title of Liberty. And for those who might not know, or it is a little tough to read, I don't know why it's written in English, but it says, in memory of our God, freedom, peace, our wives, and our children. And it's kind of bleeding into the Betsy Ross American flag, which is...
He's chirping right now.
Is he chirping right now?
Mm-hmm.
Very corny, very campy. I can't believe somebody did this seriously. But yeah, we've got the Nephite general, or the Nephite Captain Moroni. And if you don't know the story behind Captain Moroni, it comes from the Book of Mormon, which means that it's a work of fiction. But the Title of Liberty that he's hoisting, which is kind of apparently become synonymous with the American flag, is the Ammonihah, or Amalickiah, who was like kind of seen as like a antichrist, if I remember correctly, was dissenting from the Nephites, and he got so pissed off that he tore his coat and he wrote that on it and he hoisted it up on a pole, and he was running around and he was like, you need to pledge allegiance to this cause. And those who weren't about that life, he just killed them. If they didn't want to, they were seen as dissenters, and he just killed them if they didn't flee, which is not exactly somebody that I would want to look up to in that kind of situation, but
show this cat.
Whatever. Let me show Baloney again. It's funny because I don't think those are...
Disable performance mode. Here we go.
That's for us to see. I don't think they're... it's not tithes. That's like a private... I think it's a 501c3. Which is even more embarrassing, honestly. Because it's just fucking ugly. But I just wanted to show it to you guys to show... or to illustrate the inseparable nature of Mormonism and Christian nationalism, because they are like out here, just all those people in their eyes were led to the actions that they did for the United States of America by Mormon gods. So this was all to pave the way for the restoration of the Mormon gospel, the coming forth of the Book of Mormon, and ultimately the fulfillment of end time prophecies and all that jazz. So it's kind of fucking terrifying that they're just like, yeah, let's just roll this out in front of this stadium.
Yeah.
And I
Casual.
think, didn't the Jonas Brothers play that Stadium of Fire?
Did they?
I'm pretty sure they did.
The Joe Bros?
The Jonas Brothers.
Not the Joe
No
Bros.
audio. Is there no audio?
Bologna is Babby. It might
So
have,
it's just like weird
when you switched back, it might be because
freak
of that.
behavior.
Or audio goes out when you transition.
It shouldn't. It's not supposed to.
People comment about it all the time.
Oh, I love that. Okay, well, now I know not to speak during the transitions.
Yeah. Bologna is a sleepy baby. I don't know what he's doing.
This guy's crazy. I have horrible flashbacks anytime the Joe Bros come up. Oh, God.
I went to a Jonas Brothers concert.
Oh, go ahead and brag about that.
I mean,
Because you're a hipster.
I was like 11. So.
Didn't you see them in like a small kind of venue? Smallish?
I mean, they were just getting big when I was seeing them. Because they were like, you know, they were on tour with like Hannah Montana. Miley Cyrus. I think.
Hannah Montana?
Yeah.
Let's go.
You're working on a video about Disney purity culture? Oh my God. That's
The
perfect,
Mouseketeers?
Jen. That we put that on our list of religious influencer topics, you know, for our series. I put Disney adults on that list because like the overlap between religious people and Disney adults is like
it's crazy.
quite concerning. And I'm not a hater on anyone who's into Disney. Like, Disney is magical. I get it. But there's like some people who
Not for me, but
take it too far. And they're usually like fundies. So.
But they can't be fundies because the fundies are all melting down over DEI and Disney gone woke
Yes, Jen.
and shit like that. Do a Disney adult video.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about Disney adults, honestly. It is.
People are gonna.
We're going to get hate. If there's ever a video that we get hate on, which is like literally all of them, but if there's ever one, that's going to be it.
Disney adults and Harry Potterites.
Yeah.
That would be the other one. That's
One of my
putting us in a
sorority sisters
coffin.
had a Harry Potter tattoo. I wonder how she feels about that now.
Oh, she probably doesn't feel any different. Probably not. Tiana's
Anyway,
too woke.
Tiana too woke.
It got political once they started doing those Disney princesses, man. Too political for me.
I usually don't watch Disney movies because they make me cry. So
Jordan can't handle them.
childhood trauma, I can't.
Fungelical.
Christine Brown's new husband wore a Sound of Freedom shirt. No.
It doesn't really surprise
At
me.
James.
'Cause she's
Ugh, no.
big ol' into MLMs and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, she fucking pedals for whatever that one is that I can't think of.
Speaking of the Sound of Freedom, Timmy, we won't talk about this too much because we are going to be
Maybe having something come up with that, but we're not going to give other details.
Okay, sorry. I typed Timmy into the...
Timmy Ballard.
There is a soft update. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Never mind. This is a different update. Never mind.
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit. Hold on. Let me scroll down.
Oh,
here
you
for a second.
cannot even.
Dismiss. Go away. Go away.
Oh, this is why you believe women.
Holy shit. I was
Utah-
just about to say they threw out the lawsuit.
Nope, now they ain't because the Utah Crime Lab just found out it was his little spermies on his assistant's skirt. It
He's
does
so
not
cooked.
get any more official than that. Oh my God. Fuck you, Tim.
He is so cooked.
I knew that man was full of shit. And people were trying to discredit all these women and say they were lying. This is why you believe women.
The state crime lab. Holy shit.
So what does that mean for its current investigations are ongoing,
what's
right?
going on? Yeah, they dismissed 6 days ago. They dismissed the lawsuit.
Which one though? Because there were various.
I guess I forgot that there were a couple different ones. Salt Lake Tribune, get out of here. Of course they don't allow
This was
reader view.
a different woman. This was not the one that was
Oh,
in
so this
that.
one wasn't related.
Mm-mm. It might have been another woman in the same case, but it was not the same name.
Oh, okay. The term dismissed with prejudice means it cannot be refiled, while dismissed without prejudice means it can.
That name was not the same one that was in that other article.
Okay. Well, this is what I had seen. So
There's
I was
various.
okay.
There's various lawsuits against him right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if, some of them get dismissed and some don't. But man, that is some...
Not the couples ruse.
Tell me how you
Oh,
justify
man.
that. Like, how are the Mormons going to cope about this? How are they going to cope about this?
How is Tim going to cope about this?
Like,
That's...
it's your literal juices, bro. Like, we're not... Is the state crime lab conspiring against you, too? Because that's what he's going to say, is this is all a conspiracy. And
Yeah. No, that is,
some,
standard operating.
federal operatives came and, suctioned it out of his wiener in the middle of the
No,
night.
it was
and-
the private mercenaries
Yeah.
hired by the Hollywood elite that want to take him down and blah, blah, blah,
there
whatever.
you go. That right there. I mean, they're so far in the delusion hole with Tim. I can easily see why this would not convince anyone of anything. But I could see someone who is maybe on the fence going, oh shit, the state crime lab found his juices.
Now that's a whole different ball game. Welcome, James, to the
Welcome,
Tim
James.
shit talk.
How long ago did this? Wasn't this 4 hours ago that article
was 3
came
hours
out?
ago, yeah.
3 hours ago. Ugh! This better make national news.
Yeah.
The accusations made national news. This better take it all
I
the
feel
way.
so vindicated for
I
the
am
hate, dude.
absolutely vindicated. Yeah, go. What was his assistant's name? Because that other woman was named Jordana or Bree.
Should we go to...
Go
let's
back to the
see,
one that you clicked on originally. The original article.
the original article. Where was that?
Right there.
Let me show you.
What's his assistant's name?
On this. Let's see.
Celeste.
Celeste. Okay.
So that's not the same woman. So does it say that lawsuit is one that's still ongoing?
You want to go down? They just go into, according to Boris's attorney, a sergeant with the Utah County Sheriff's Office told them that the 100% match of Ballard's DNA in June, but the sergeant would not release verification paperwork because he did not want to negatively impact the ongoing criminal investigation.
I roll.
As an assault victim, plaintiff believes that she's entitled to the results. In support of her claim, Boris' attorney also released text messages with the Utah County Sheriff's Office sergeant.
Oh, so she's putting them on blast too. So they're
as
all
she
involved in this
should.
too.
The crime lab
Does not provide anything to anyone other than law enforcement. I will need to check with my lieutenant before I can release anything, and he's in training in Florida throughout next week. Convenient. So I won't be able to do anything until I meet with him. Detective said that you reached out to him asking for it. No other agency can release this information. We're trying to set up a meeting with
Are you
all of us
telling
for
me
next
that
week.
he's incommunicado while he's training? That means he's working, dumbass. Whatever.
The attorneys also wrote a letter to the Salt Lake County District Attorney Tim Gill, who's a terrible person, by the way. Arguing Boris wants to obtain these results before they could possibly disappear. It is known that Ballard has a cozy relationship with the Utah County Sheriff's Office in the past, which was bragged about by Ballard to Celeste quite often. A spokesperson for Gill said he does not have jurisdiction to act on the case. That might be the case, but Sim Gill's also a piece of shit for various other reasons. I went to college with his son.
Haley said the juice is piping hot. Actually, it is approximately 98 to 99 degrees.
Oh my God. I wish Nuance Hill wasn't at camp right now because she
Girl.
would be losing her shit over this.
There's a whole bunch of shit here.
Oh my God.
It's too much for right now.
Well, that's
oh
probably,
my Lord.
Well, these are probably
Oh, it
the
might
text
just be the
messages
rehash.
that we read on stream, remember?
Yeah, it might just be the rehash.
Yeah. Yeah, we 100% read all those and it
Holy
was
there's
traumatizing.
If you want to check that
Holy
out, you
crap.
can go.
She is so entitled to every fucking dime that little bitch ass has. without question. What does his wife say about? Like, how do you justify this to your wife?
The couple's ruse.
It wasn't mine. I did
Think
not
of the
have
children.
sexual relations with that woman.
Yep.
Like, where do we go from here? Like,
Think of the children, including my future children that ended up on her skirt.
I mean,
you know,
that
is like the watertight argument that he's had so far. I don't feel like it would fail at this point.
Yeah, the people who are, it's kind of, I hate to use the term brainwashing because I feel like sometimes it's reductive, but in this case it is like so obvious at this point. Like you can't argue with, because they're saying like claims women lie, even though the percentage of women that lie is like negligible.
I bet my theory on how it got onto her skirt was while she was in the shower, he couldn't control himself and he relieved himself.
So he's gonna say that
onto her skirt and some
she
sort
wasn't
of thing.
wearing it at the time.
I guarantee you that is gonna be his.
Because I'm pretty sure that Celeste incident was the one where he like attacked her on the stairs. Remember?
Can't remember.
And that was the one that he had talked
long.
to the apostle about, and the apostle was like, "You're fine. You have your second anointing. You're okay."
Right. Somebody stole my juices, Chow Yun Smut. Who's seen Metalocalypse? There's that one episode where the crazed fan is trying to get Nathan's genetic material with this crazy, like, glizzy grappling gun.
Exactly. If the sperm, Debbie said it, if the sperm fits, you must realize he doesn't tell the truth. I mean, that is
exactly. At least he's been.
If it's a 100% match, and that's why that freaking. I understand that they have like protocol and policy at like the sheriff's office or whatever, but it's because all these people are all butt buddies with him.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna go, oh god damn it, like it's his shit.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that we can do is retain this information.
Just look at
so
what the sheriff was doing. I'm sure the sheriff had at least some idea of who he was in his brain. And he was like, I don't know.
I'm messaging
James,
Kara
I'm glad that you know, or that you agree with me on that one. The cum rag defense is undefeatable.
I am messaging Kara right now.
Kara. Everybody send up prayers to the grid that it might connect Jordan and Kara.
She's a camp counselor this summer, and so she's away from her phone a lot, but she's very invested in this and has done a lot of work around it. So I want to make sure that she knows.
Or who else? Somebody that I see on TikTok who's also an ex-Mormon. What is her name? Carly. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Carly?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Carly. Yeah. She follows me.
I can't remember. Shout out Carly. She definitely dives into this really good. Is some guy jorked on my clothes? That's equally creepy. Seriously, hey, I need a shower. Yeah. Especially if you were, regardless of what his defense is going to be, if you're jorking it into somebody's clothes and they're unaware and they put those clothes on, that's still sexual harassment.
Yep.
And you're entitled to damages in that situation. That's equally disgusting. I'm not going to try and qualify sexual harassment or anything, but I wasn't thinking of Rebecca, but I know that I see that she posts a lot about it in the Mormon Stories group too. Rebecca Biblioteca.
Okay, sorry, I'm posting this.
Straight jorking it. And what do I mean by jorking it? Well, let's just say my peanuts. Are you posting that on the story or what's up?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to need... I can't believe I'm still on this. Sorry, guys. I guess we can go on from this because this is kind of just developing at this point. Lavosa Succuboso from
so
Metalocalypse.
maddening.
Okay, it's been
God.
a long time since I've seen that episode. So
Jesus
I probably
Christ.
need to rewatch it, honestly.
I want to fight this man with my bare hands.
Especially if it's a coworker or boss. I mean, even if it's a guy that you're dating, that's without your knowledge is gross, or consent, really.
Man.
But yeah, especially a coworker, and even more so a boss. So that's awesome. We had what does this super chat say? I'm sorry I missed it. Let's go back.
Oh, I was gonna.
Ivana Tinkle, have you heard of Chip Girl on TikTok? She's Utah with 5 million followers, and she's Mormon, but she's got a chip in her hand. Oh my God. Was she not one of the Mom Talk ones?
She wasn't in Mom Talk, but Chip Girl was Mom Talk adjacent. And I never talked about her because
she's ultra rich.
I don't remember if she was Mormon or not, but she was bizarre because her husband, she's like the CEO of the company that like you can unlock like doors and shit with a chip, and she had the chip implanted in her hand.
In the back of her hand.
And so when she goes to like unlock the door, like she just like puts her hand up to it and it unlocks it. And her house is like one of the biggest things I've ever seen in my fucking life. And so they're beyond the pale rich. But she probably deserves her own video if she's Mormon, honestly. I don't know if she's problematic or conservative or anything, but
she's ultra rich and she's Utah.
Yeah. So she's super interesting. I haven't seen her come up on anything for me though in like a long time. So
honestly, that's just some annoying shit. It's not anything special. It's just an RFID chip. And if I know how abysmal Apple smart home devices are, which is Apple, like everything is integrated very tightly all the time with Apple, I can imagine that they probably off camera experience a lot of issues. So anyway, Ivana, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Sorry it took us a little while to get us. We're focused,
we were on a
locked
path.
in.
I messaged Carly too. This is important information.
Okay.
So somebody said, oh yeah, Michaela Skinner videos incoming in a few days. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, you don't have to worry about losing your keys because it's literally in your skin.
Yeah.
So
I guess if you had like, I know the Model 3 has that little card. I'm sure you could like paste the ID of it onto your little chip and instead of using your little ID card to get in your car, you just have it on your hand, which I guess would be kind of useful. I don't know. We don't fuck with Tesla in this house, so I said what I said. Can you go through an airport metal detector with a chip in your hand? I'm sure you could. You'd probably get body scanned and they'd be like, what the hell? But that would be like an easily resolved thing. It makes me wonder what you would do if you had to get an MRI, though.
It does make me wonder about that, too.
You probably couldn't, right?
I don't know.
It would just
maybe it's small enough. Well,
right out of
because
your
they make you take out
fucking
jewelry
skin.
and stuff. So I don't know. That's an interesting question.
I don't think
I'm supposed to be
I don't
pulling
think
up our
size
Instagram
has anything to do with it because those magnets are so strong. It's not even funny.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'll pass on those kind of chips. I'm sure like all the fundies are probably like, oh my God, it's the mark of the beast. Literally, this Mormon has the mark of the beast. Wouldn't a strong magnet ruin the RFID? I honestly don't know enough about RFID to really know. Okay. I feel like it would. I don't know.
All right.
If you had like a rare earth magnet, probably, but probably not like a kitchen refrigerator magnet or something like that. Alexis said it would be an MRI issue. Okay, there you go.
Well, there you are.
It's a different metal. I guess maybe it could be made with.
I figure it's got to not be in her hand that deep, so if they needed to take it out, they could. I imagine it just would be a pain.
It's like an animal microchip, like a pet microchip, basically.
What does she do at the airport? That's a good question.
I feel like it would be a health hazard.
Okay, so other things that came up in our Instagram question box. So
Have you guys seen a video by Alyssa Grenfell where she explains that ex-Mormon influencers are inadvertently profiting from the LDS's church's AdSense spending? You guys get LDS church ads on here. So.
Because the church is advertising on their stuff? On
our stuff.
No, but I mean, I'm thinking about that. Was she
saying ex-Mormons or what?
I'm thinking about that theory though, because with YouTube, you don't get to pick.
No, you don't.
Who you put ads on. You get to pick demographically. Like people will be like advertisers will say like you know, primarily women 20 to 50, whatever. Like they get to pick like age groups is my understanding. So, I mean, I guess in theory, because I mean, we could make the same argument for us. I mean, they advertise on our shit.
Yeah.
And they don't want to advertise on our shit.
I full on believe that they, I mean, you just look at when the Book of Mormon was first on Broadway, they took out a whole page in the playbill.
Yeah.
And it essentially was like, you've seen the play, now read the book. It's based on kind of like, there's no way anybody fucking, it just is kind of common sense in my opinion that they're putting ads on our channel. They're paying Google to put ads in our space.
Yeah.
And Google gives us a proceed of that because they were able to sell ad space to the church. So,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing is they don't have any control of where those ads go. Like they're probably advertising primarily to young people because that's the demographic that they're wanting to baptize. Yeah.
Those are the people that they can get because they're vulnerable generally.
Yeah. Yeah.
More vulnerable.
So it's like they pick their target audience, but they have no control over whose channels they show up on, which I think honestly on like our channel, honestly, I think is a waste of their money. Because like you guys.
Yeah, I'd rather
like,
them.
This is fucking stupid.
Advertise like hell on this.
This is dumb. So it's like they're paying. I just think it's kind of funny because they pay. I mean, I'm sure they end up on Alyssa's videos too. Like you end up with Mormon ads on ex-Mormon content, and it's like, I'm sure they don't want that, but they have no control over it.
You can actually target specific YouTube channels with Google Ads.
I wonder how that works. I wonder.
I actually wouldn't blacklist the church solely on the principle that they are.
Well, it's helpful for us, for you guys to see their marketing, because it's like then you get to see like how much money they pour into it, and they're not like weird, obscure, crappy like homemade ads. It's like, oh, they have like a marketing department and they pay legitimately a shit ton of money.
My cousin works for a firm that's owned by the church that does marketing. She was part of the whole Times Square takeover last Christmas.
Yep.
So Jordan and McKay and LDS collab coming.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, they don't want this smoke. I keep it real.
Okay.
Jordan, I want to fight this man with my bare hands.
That is me. Okay, let's
look
at
our
concert.
Buenas noches.
Let's look at what we've got here. I've got lots of random obscure things in the question box.
Let's go.
So Michaela Skinner was one of them. Remember a video about her pending coming this week. Great American Road Trip, bus family on Fundy Snark. I feel like the bus family, which has like a bunch of kids and they have like a 200 square foot bus that they travel around the world in.
Which, let me interject here real quick. When Jordan said the bus family, I was like, oh, North and South?
No, not even. Not even.
If I had a nickel for every time that happened, I'd have 2 nickels.
It's true.
Which isn't a lot, but it's weird.
There are a lot of people doing this. Like, there are a lot of people with kids doing this weird bus thing. So they're definitely not unique in any sense.
No.
But it's interesting. They, in my opinion, they have overtaken Girl Defined in Fundy Snark Uncensored posts. They really are. Like, they are having their Fundy Snark moment right now, and for good reason. I mean, I think they're terrible people, and I think they're doing terrible things to their children with keeping that many kids in such a confined space. They don't go to school. Of course, they're fundy like they homeschool. You know, they keep popping them out. It's like they have like questionable things with their children, in my opinion, that they're doing as also a parent. I saw yesterday or the day before, maybe it was the day before, Hannah Alonso did a video about them. We love her. We're friends. So go watch that video.
We love to see that she's doing so well.
She's doing amazing. So go watch her video. I'm sure she covered a bunch of stuff if you don't know anything about them. Okay, well, we can talk about this one because this came up in our question box a bunch of times too. Zelf on the Shelf and Bethany and Dave collab. What would you like to say about that?
Were y'all considered for that collab too? No, this was purely between Zelf on the Shelf.
We were not involved in
Bethany
that at all.
and Dave. I would not have had any interest in. I don't know I don't know how people interpreted our last video that we did about Bethany and Dave, but I definitely am not praising Bethany for any progress that is made, because in my opinion, she had not taken any steps for any sort of like taking accountability, let alone starting in on any sort of restitution or things like that. So to kind of put them on a pedestal, I didn't think was a good idea, in my opinion. You know, it's not our channel, it's not our content or whatever, and how they handled it was, you know, a little questionable at best. They just doubled down and everything, and I thought it was kind of weird that they uploaded a second part, even though it seemed like Bethany and Dave didn't really want to do another thing about it, and just kind of cut contact and took everything down. But I don't know. It was really kind of weird, because even I think listening to that, it kind of made a little more sense what was going on, but it was still pretty obvious that there was not a lot of movement at the time to be like exonerating Bethany of the very real harm that she has caused and is continuing to cause. But like, if you got a book deal that you can't get out of, I guess you're really not about it. You're really not about making changes and stuff like that, because she was still putting her name on this transphobic book that was to be coming out. She was still promoting it. She was still running stuff with Girl Defined. So it feels a little empty to think that she was making any sort of progress. But honestly, there are times and places to approach things with love and understanding. But, you know, usually that's with the layman. That's not with people who have done actual harm and were proponents, like the engine driving that harm kind of thing. Like if it were, the thing I kept coming back to was, if Sherry Dew was kind of in the same situation as Bethany, would Zelf on the Shelf have been more as charitable to Sherry Dew, who has written books and done things and is good friends with the prophet and the prophet's wife? Albeit Sherry Dew's on a much larger scale, but would they have been so charitable to Sherry Dew as they were with Zelf?
I don't know what is happening with the cats right now. I don't disagree. I had high hopes going into this because I thought it was going to be an opportunity for Bethany and Dave, I mean, both of them, to share kind of their opinions and where they are, but also...
These cats are taking over. I'm sorry.
God,
We're trying to
what is the problem? Do you want this? Here. You can have my water. I think that's what they wanted. But the idea, I was hoping, like, somebody who can hold them accountable in a way where they felt comfortable sitting down with them as like other people who had also deconstructed and left a religion. And I was hoping there would be some more, not like tough questions, but like I don't know. I have to be very careful about what I'm saying. I was hoping for more accountability, more opportunity to like, okay, well, these are, you know, people's concerns is that you've done this up to this point. You've said these things, you've made these points, and what does that mean? Not from like we're here to like attack you and we're here to like question you and poke at you, but like, I think there's a loving balance that can be had, or a respectful balance where it's like, you know, you can understand where people come from. Like, there's going to be people that watch this and they're going to be like, you know, you've made homophobic comments, you've made transphobic comments. Like, where are you at with that? How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you made that from an uninformed position? Or are you starting to change your tune? And if that's the case, what does that mean for the comments that have been made? You know, because there is questioning around what needs to be done as part of changing that.
Yeah.
Like what needs to be discussed, like what accountability needs to be taken, like, and that's a larger question, I think, of what that actually looks like. And so I know the intention was good. Like I know the intention was there for it to be like a positive connective thing for like trying to reach out to people in a deconstructive space. But like I've had this conversation with McKay before, where the thing that also concerns me about like this kind of narrative and what's happening here is, you know, Bethany's like, she's a forward facing person. She's a public person, not like celebrity level, but because of her popularity, she takes in, and I think she's doing this less so because she's been off social media, but she takes in a lot of opinions from a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to make decisions when you have that much people and that much influence. So like it makes me concerned, because not that I think that, you know, she would necessarily be swayed to the point that it's not her own opinion, but I think people underestimate the sway that people have when you have all these people that are like, oh my God, like girl deconstructing, like we love this for you, we're so happy for you, you and Dave deconstruct, we love you can make new content out of this. Like I think people underestimate the pull that has, and it worries me that somebody in that position might be pulled in that direction more so because of the positive feedback that they're getting, and it might not actually be the direction that they want to go. And so that's so much influence to have to purposely filter out to like come to your own opinion, you know? And so that's what concerns me, is it feels kind of like inauthentic a little bit. That's just kind of the vibe that I got and what would concern me. And it's like deconstruction is a very personal and intimate journey, and to be deconstructing publicly and to be having people like try to get you to go one way or another. Like when you think about Bethany's position, she doesn't have any in-betweeners. Like Bethany either has people who are pulling her so far away from religion and saying, deconstruct, get out of it, your brand of Christianity is toxic, like leave, make deconstruction content instead, you'll get a bunch of new people. Like she's getting that, and then she's probably getting her family, which is like, even connecting with people who are deconstructing is bad. Like you have all the drama going on between her and her mom on social media. Like then you've got the opposite, who's like, deconstruction is bad, like I feel sorry for you that your husband is like a piece of shit now. And like she's not getting any balanced perspective in the middle. Like she's only getting the two polar opposites that are pulling her two very different directions. And I think it would be hard for any individual to look at that and go, I know exactly what I want regardless of all these people's opinions. And that's kind of what concerns me about that. And like I understand that they weren't the ones that put out the video. Like it was Zelf that put out the video. But I think that they also don't love the direction that it went either, because if you watched the second version, I saw it posted in Fundy Snark that Dave and Bethany like stopped communicating with Zelf shortly after these videos were made. So we got this like hi ho besties vibe to like, we won't be
leaving group chats and shit
really anymore.
Which somebody said them stepping off for a while doesn't necessarily mean they regret the collab.
It's fair.
That's
we don't
fair,
know.
but it's also kind of weird to include that text.
It is a very extreme jump.
I thought it was a weird inclusion.
To like going to restaurants and like making drinks and hanging out and posting content on social media to like nothing. Yeah. And why would I be invested? Why would I allow you into my home, let you film all this content for your channel so you can profit off of it, to just dip out? Yeah. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like it's okay to just deconstruct, and I think they might be doing that now because they're off social media for the most part.
Maybe this was the catalyst to them saying, okay, we just need to do this on our own, which is, you know, in a lot of circumstances, I feel like that could be the solution.
Yeah.
in some circumstances, I believe that people that you have a really strong relationship with, you're able to approach about these kinds of topics and slowly over a long amount of time make some progress. Like that's what we do with our own families and friends and people like that, is we know who they are, and they can see where we stand and what we believe, and they know that when they come to our house we won't tolerate some things, and we'll have these kinds of conversations. And I think that's maybe where they were approaching this, and like if we can become friends, then we can help them along in this kind of thing. And obviously this is just perception of what was going on. I don't know necessarily if that was their intention or whatever.
Well, I think they're...
So I and it's a more comfortable place to have those kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
It's really intimidating if you're just kind of, we don't know you. Why'd you say all the awful shit about purity culture? You know, just kind of coming in hot like that.
Well, and I think there's also this expectation that because Dave is like much, much further down the deconstruction path, that's the path that Bethany is going to take. And I think that might be part of maybe where some of her feelings lie, is like, my husband is leaving, and my husband is like very far down the deconstruction path, and is like also kind of saying that he's an atheist at this point, and the expectation is that Bethany is going to go down that same path. And I don't, in my opinion, I don't really see that in the cards for Bethany at this point. I really don't. I can see Bethany maybe deconstructing like some of the more rigid Christian things that she believes, which I think we saw some of in those videos, which I'm like here for. Like I'm also here for making your own brand of whatever in the moment. But I think that's what people's expectations of Bethany is that she's going to leave Christianity, go on this apology tour, join Dave in complete deconstruction, and then just, that's it. Like she shuts down Girl Defined, she cancels her book contract, she doesn't talk to Kristen anymore.
Yeah.
And like that's it. And I think that's I think for a lot of people that would be great. Like I would love that for her to like own her homophobic and transphobic shit and move on and live a much more productive, respectful life. I just don't see it happening. And I think
especially
we might be projecting that on this situation.
Such a short period of time.
Well, I think there's our own levels of protection happening here. Our own levels of projection that are happening on this situation of like, it's extremely frustrating, and we want, like, so many of these people have been in like the fundy circles for so long that we want to win. Like we want wins where we can get them. And then we project our own like impatience and our own annoyance, and that's all fair and valid. It just sometimes colors our perspective of the situation, because I think a lot of the criticisms that have been made in places like Funny Snark, and I haven't read a lot of them, but are valid about the collaboration itself. But I also know that there's jackass people in all kinds of Reddit subs who take things too far. So it's like there's this balance to be had of like, are there valid criticisms, and then are there outliers of people who are like just being like fucking ridiculous and hateful just to like be annoying? I think there is both, and I think that exists largely most places on the internet.
Yeah, well, especially Reddit is its own beast.
And I could see Dave's pace being much quicker, and them seeing this as an opportunity, and Dave getting excited because there's people in his corner and he wants to make friends in this area, which is completely understandable. And Bethany went along with it, and then maybe realized later on, like, this was too fast, or like I was not ready to be here at this point, which is fair. But that's why, you know, hightailing it into content is a risk.
Well, and I think also if you're getting too close to the sun too fast, you're having these changes like materialize out of nothing. I feel like it oftentimes will create kind of a backfire effect where we have a person who's going down a line, and then they get criticized in a way that they didn't expect to be criticized, because in their mind they're making progress and they're changing, they're trying to to fix the harm that they've caused in the past and things like that. And that one criticism will be like, well, if I'm not making as much progress than I thought, then what am I doing? And they'll just split. Like the white liberal, it's like the white liberal, what do you call that, trope, essentially, where as soon as they get criticized by people of color, then all of a sudden the racism comes out, kind of situation.
So yeah, I mean, I think this is a very complicated thing. I think from my understanding, like, and also as a queer person, I feel like from the criticism that I read, queer people felt largely like unrepresented in these conversations, and felt like, I mean, I could see feeling like we're kind of rewarding somebody for the bare minimum a little bit, and kind of, I mean, it almost to me felt kind of PR-y a little bit, like we're trying to, from a public relations perspective, like shape Bethany and Dave's image to be something that is much more favorable than it has been in the last few years. And for Dave, as he's like owning things, that's great, he's on a path, but I also didn't see him also share any accountability for any of this either, because it's not just like, it's also giving the false kind of, I think it gives a false view of deconstruction where it's just like, it's just easy, like you just stop believing these things and you move on. It's like, no, there's severe introspection and accountability and like places that I need to take ownership, where that's like a much unfun part. Trying to be very careful with my words, of deconstruction that's like often neglected, where you have to kind of look at your own behavior. And it's unfortunate for Bethany because she's doing this in the public sphere. Yeah. Like, I get it. It's unfortunate because all of this stuff is on the internet. And if you truly don't think that anymore, then like, gee whiz, that fucking sucks for you. I get it. But nobody dragged your ass on the internet. Yeah. And nobody put a gun to your head and told you got to make these points and you got to convince all these people to be transphobic and homophobic and this is the only way. Yeah.
Well, and to the point on the uncomfortability stage, like everybody has to face that in some capacity. And I think this will probably, with the Michaela Skinner, I almost said Maroney. No dirt on her name, sorry. With the Michaela Skinner video, this point will come up. But like at some point while we were deconstructing, you have to come to grips with the casual racism that goes on within the church, especially as a return missionary. There is just casual racism that is rampant, crazy. And then every time I see memories pop up or something related to that, you just have to have this feeling of embarrassment wash over you to think, I can't believe that I ever thought that was okay. I mean, to this day, I come across memories or whatever, and I'm like, that really fucking sucks that I was able to be led down this way into hating people in willingly at this point. So yeah, nobody wants to be in that uncomfortable position, and it is just a lot to go through in a really short time and have any sort of meaningful change.
Well, and I think the other part of this is like we're putting a spotlight on this in a way that most people who are deconstructing do not have. Like we kind of did that to a degree, but we'd done lots of work up to that point. So it wasn't like necessarily going through it on camera, but this is very much trying to like be on a path where I'm potentially making choices that are very different than choices I would have made, a month, 2 months, like a year ago. And so it's kind of like putting a camera into a very intimate experience that's really messy. And so I don't necessarily know that it benefits people or it benefits Bethany and Dave at this point to be broadcasting this, because again, there's lots of defensive-ness and criticisms and things that gets brought up as a part of this. And I think it's because I think there's also hope for people like, who have been watching these fundies. Like we see somebody who's potentially trying to make change and we project our hopes onto them and we project what we want for them and hope that if we just get one, If we just
Yeah.
get one that eventually makes this change, that's a lot of pressure on a person to like make decisions. But I think there is, you know, the duality of it, the nuance of like we can hold her accountable for her toxic beliefs and behaviors, and also have positive emotions towards the fact that she's starting to think critically. I think there can be a balance between those two things, but I also lean heavy on the fact that I'm not coming out here with balloons and streamers throwing her a fucking party for starting to think critically, because I know she was raised this way, but so was I.
Yeah.
And so was every other person who
And we did
deconstructed.
We didn't have anybody to.
The unfortunate
reach out
part
to
is
us.
she's so public, yes. But like, you're an adult, you're responsible for your actions, and so it's like there might be more come to Jesus-ing, forgive my metaphor or my pun there, but on your end because of that. It's going to
Come
look
to
a little
gritting.
different for you because of that. And that sucks, but
Yeah.
I don't think she should just be getting hate. I think there can be a balance, because I also don't think it does Bethany any favors to throw streamers and balloons at her for this behavior, because this all comes down to her decision. Like, in reality, she should not be doing any of this online, and nobody should be fucking commenting. Like, that's it. Like, I don't care if you're praising her. I don't care if you're hating on her. Like, all this is giving lots and lots of influence for a decision that is very personal.
Yeah.
And very values-based and very intimate. And so I don't think there is a perfect balance here, but I think both of those need to exist.
Yeah.
Where accountability is had, and expectation and pressure, and like empathy and understanding for like making steps in the right direction. But you also can't expect the people, like, you can't expect the people that you oppressed to come throw you a parade.
Yeah.
You know, like, you
Or
can't
to-
expect queer people to be like,
Or to
"Good,
forgive
Bethany."
you at all.
No, I mean, that's not necessary either. And that's the crappy part of it, is you get, as a person, get to sit with the discomfort of that, of like, people might never be okay with, or might never forgive me for the shit that I said when I was Mormon. Like, that's a reality. But for the rest of us that, like, you know, the average people who aren't in a public sphere don't get lots of positive feedback either for deconstructing. So I think it's an unhealthy thing to kind of have in the space too, because it's just not, I mean, it's just not reality. Like, none of us truly know anything about their life or how they function on a day-to-day basis or their true opinions. Like, who knows? Maybe Dave still is homophobic. Who fucking knows? Like, there are plenty of people who have deconstructed who still hold toxic belief systems. And so it's like, I think we don't do him any favors either by pedestalizing him at the same time. You know, like, there's lots of risk in this situation. There's lots of risk because it's deconstructing in the public square.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting concept. And deconstructing in a public square when you have been, I mean, it's like watching Ben Shapiro like disavow his belief system, or watching Candace Owens, or watching, like, it's like you have gone so
Seriously.
hard for so long in one direction. It's hard to imagine any alternative at this point.
Yeah. I don't think we would be accepting either of those people with open arms if one day they were just like, yep, I don't like what I was doing. Well, it's a little late for you to decide that, and we need to see some change that's going to be made. I remember that I remember having a good outlook when we originally reacted to that one video on their channel where they were talking about the 24 hours with Paula Morgan.
Uh-huh.
And I know that we were happy because it looked like she was going to be reevaluating things.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember being clear that she had not, as of that point, and so far as we know now, taken any steps in any direction. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is so much
Honestly,
nuance
to
be had here. And there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
And this is a very personal thing, and I think there's danger in both sides of the extreme, which is why I'm advocating for more of a balanced perspective where we can allow for empathy, understanding, questioning everything you know and trying to figure out where to go is a very isolating place to be. So, you know,
especially with church, because church is designed to, I mean, even in less serious and less fundamentalist settings, it is like a central part of people's community and sense of belonging when it can be applied in the right way. So it's tough in any of those situations where you're like, yeah, I have to get out of this thing that has been my tether to the planet Earth, and then you're just going to be floating out in space not really knowing what's going on.
Well, and there's so much of our own shit that pops up in these conversations. Like, there's a reason that this is such a passionate topic for people, because all of our personal stuff comes out in these conversations, because lots of us have been in Bethany's position or been hurt by somebody like a Bethany before, and that shows up in how we interpret these events and this lens. And so it's hard to truly try to have like a more objective view of this, because I don't really know that there is one, because this is so conflated with personal experience and personal viewpoints. And that's why, I mean, it's an isolating place to be, especially if you're deconstructing in your like church community that only wants you to stay in the church. And so, you know, I appreciate the fact that other like Christian like or deconstructing people are able to reach out to Bethany and Dave and like offer them that community of like, we've been there, things get better, like, we're here to support you along your journey, etc. But that's also no one's responsibility either. And how you go about that relationship, like whether you broadcast it or whether you monetize it, I think that's a larger conversation. But it's not the responsibility of people to comfort you in your discomfort as you deconstruct either. Like, is it nice? Yeah. But is it the responsibility of the people that you've shit on? I mean, also no. If I was in Bethany's position, I wouldn't exactly be surprised that all these people aren't running to my aid and saying good job after you've beat me with a stick 3,000 times. And then suddenly
and dragged me through the mud and
suddenly you're stopping for a second and I'm like, oh, Bethany, God bless you. Wow.
Snaps.
You've beat the living shit out of me with your words, but I really am feeling you right now. Like, I understand why people feel that way. Like, it makes sense. And it would not be any different, in my opinion, were it any other like Christian influencer who decided to step away from this sphere, because it brings up the same issues. It always brings up the idea of accountability, and what does accountability look like, and who gets to judge what's enough accountability and what's enough apologizing and what's enough ownership. Like, that's a larger question, I think, too, that I don't really have answers for, and I think a lot of people don't, is if a Christian influencer or somebody who's caused a lot of harm does decide to deconstruct and does decide to take ownership and accountability, what does that look like? When is it enough to say they have been fully accountable and I can respect them? Do they ever get to that point? Like, it's such a philosophical, massive issue, and it makes total sense to me why people are as up in arms about it as they are. And I think it's because this is so much bigger than all of us, truly. So much bigger. Okay, let me read comments.
I wanted to, somebody said, McKay, it'd be cool if you had a mission conversation specific to Honduras with a former missionary or Honduran friend. I wish I had any of those. I had one Honduran friend, good friend that I made while I was there, around my same age. And he was ex-Mormon, and then a couple months ago, he actually passed away tragically out of nowhere. So, Rip Carlitos, I was really sad. That would be the one person that I could think of, but like, I guess I do know a couple missionaries who are ex-Mormon now, but the one I would think of is like ridiculously busy. The dude is crazy. Anyway.
Yes, I'm seeing good comments here. She needs to volunteer for the Trevor Project at the very least. I think that's a big part of it, too, is, like, what are you doing in this sphere to educate yourself and, like, explore your bias and, like, what comes up. I think that's a big part of it. Someone said it'd be great if Bethany got better about her bigotry and hate, but until that moment comes, I'm not going to say much about her while her views influence her actions towards those she sees as beneath. Yeah, I mean, this comes back to, like, you know, expecting the people that she has oppressed with her words and money and platform to be anything but not happy with her. Doesn't make any sense to me. And Rebecca making also a good point. I was homophobic as a young adult / teen. I'm still having a hard time forgiving myself. I think that's part of this too, is I mean, from my opinion, like, a genuine sorrow for, like, man, like, we all make fun of, like, you know, shit I said when I was Mormon, because it's like, yeah, it's embarrassing and mortifying. But it's like, you know, some of us have to make amends with people and apologize and reach out and do those kinds of things. And, like, forgiveness of the self is something I think that is hard to do and comes with time. But I think that's, like, that genuine feeling of, like, man, I really wronged people and I really caused harm here. I think for me, that's what has to come first before anything else. Like, you have to have, like, genuine empathy for people, and not because, like, oh, God made you gay. Oh, I feel sorry for you. Like, not that kind of thing, but, like, my behavior has harmed people, and I have to reckon with that. And so until you can sit with that, I think it's hard to do anything else. And that process is largely something that cannot be documented necessarily, because that is all, like, introspection. That is all, like, sitting with my past choices, my past behaviors, how I make change, what I do, what I learn, how I educate myself. Like, that's all a very internalized process. And so that would be hard to convey to people. Like, that would be hard to, like, when in terms of, like, determining, like, because we're sitting in the judgment role of, like, what's enough to forgive Bethany for what she's done.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's ever going to be an all or nothing answer to that. I think everybody's going to have a different answer to that.
Especially in a community of people where the personal damage that has been done by a certain person, by Bethany, varies from person to person. I mean, there are people who never heard of Girl Define or whatever, and were just snarking on her, you know. And there are also people who maybe formerly had even attended a conference and are queer and have had horrible things said about them from Kristen and Bethany. And for that person, maybe the restitution requirement is higher. And I mean, there's also just going to be consequences. Like, I think that's part of it too, is, you know, you say shit when you're religious that you regret, and there might be people who never forgive you for those things. And that's also fair. It's, like, also about how you interpret this and how you know when you're in a position where you're ready to move forward. And, like, that's my point, is I think that we are all expecting too much of Bethany at this point, because it's not going to happen overnight. But I also understand why people aren't running to praise her. Like, I don't see the necessity of it. I don't think it's important. And we don't reward people for not being bigots. Like, I'm sorry. That might be a harder line defense, but it's like, I can have empathy and understanding. And, like, I appreciate the fact that she's potentially, like, thinking differently and, like, trying to unravel some of her shit. But it's like, you can't expect queer people to lay out the red carpet for you, you know? Here, I have a little anecdote that applies just to what we're talking about. Let's see, who was it asking? Julie. Any Christian influencers who aren't fundamentalists? Do any of them discourage bigotry, hatred, misogyny, and purity culture? And Christy Chan replied with, God is gray, but I don't really watch her. That's just what I've heard through the grapevine. White fragility deconstruction moment. Because of this whole situation that went down. And even if it wasn't the intent, she excluded, is she a model or creator, black model or creator?
It is a very complicated situation.
This is just my quick retelling, and she got backlash for it, and then she decided to double down, and it was clear that there were things that she needed to work on that she didn't think that she needed to do any more work on. So that's the kind of thing that can happen when you get going too quick, and some people are able to tolerate it, and then you get a little backlash and you decide to double down. You don't think you're in the wrong when people are telling you that you're wrong. So
yeah. So it's like I can have empathy and understanding having been a person who has deconstructed.
Yeah. Oh, the new evangelicals. We'll shout them out. They did
Good
a thing
example.
with Jen, Fundy Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
So go check that out.
And they did that 24 hours episode with Paul Morgan.
Oh yeah, that was scathing.
which was rough. I was surprised Paul Morgan even asked them to be on their channel, honestly.
When are we gonna get a Mormon channel to do 24 hours with us? I would love that.
That's a whole other thing. But anyway, that's kind of our very long-winded opinions on the situation.
Yeah, that was long.
I don't think it's complicated. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer here. This is not a black and white issue. There's lots of gray area. I don't think anybody's necessarily doing anything wrong. I think there are fair criticisms of all parties involved.
Yeah.
I think I can have empathy for Bethany, and I hope she continues down a path where she examines how her beliefs have impacted other people. And that's going to be my involvement in their process, because I truly don't think that any of us are doing them any favors by being so involved in their deconstruction journey, even if they're putting it out there. Like, I know all these people put all this shit out there and they do it, but that doesn't mean that it's healthy for them either.
Yeah. There's a lot going down in this. And obviously, we're not the arbiters of who is right in this situation.
Wait. Let's talk about this, though. Am I demanding that she apologize right now?
If you understood that,
I mean, you're saying as a
need to go
therapist,
back.
I should know this. So, like, am I demanding that she make an apology right now? I don't think
maybe we
used
need to
those
go
words.
back and listen a little more carefully.
It's just an interesting question. And like I've said, we've all had, I think, to some degree, our personal opinions have impacted unrealistic expectations that we then project onto the situation.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's unrealistic for people to have hope, but I don't think it's necessarily helpful to the situation to project those things onto these people who are still trying to make their decisions. Like, I'm sure Bethany is getting a lot of personal input from family. And when you're deconstructing and you have family members who, like, you love and care about that are, like, very much influencing your decision, like, that's hard. Like, it's hard to filter out family stuff, even if you don't believe the same things anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's one thing to try to, like, sort through all, like, your family shit, but, like, then like, the public shit on top of that, like, that is just, like, I don't blame her for getting off social media if that's why. Because I would be like, this is too much with people with too many opinions, valid as they are. It would be too heavy to deal with, I feel like, if it were me.
And Allison, we're not expecting her to do so much so quickly.
I
literally was talking about that, how it could have a backfire effect. So, anyway. Soy de Michoacán, un vuelo desde California. Es 6 horas, 10 horas. Es mucho. Yeah, that's a lot of time. That's a long time for a flight. I've never been, I think, I flew from, when I went on my mission, I flew from Guatemala, or LAX to Guatemala. Well, first I went from Denver to Salt Lake to LAX to Guatemala, and then I did my MTC, my missionary training center, for 6 weeks, and then I flew to Tegucigalpa. But I think it was only 5 hours to Guatemala City. That's kind of crazy. Thank you for answering my question, Jordan McKay. I'm a Christian, but would never support anybody who weaponizes God against people. Yeah, that's pretty awful. We don't do that. I feel like you can. It's pretty easy to suss out when it comes to creators who are, like, kind of. If you're here, I feel like you're probably well enough equipped to be able to suss out those kinds of people. Baloney, careful! You're gonna rip your claw. Do we have any other? Let's do some. I remember there were other things that I wanted to talk about that were in the suggestions.
Let's see. Okay.
Somebody said all of the things, and here we are giving you all of the things.
Somebody
Wow.
asked for Joby updates, like Ruby and Jody
I don't think
updates.
there are any
I
there.
have not heard of any. I have not heard of anything. Like all the child's custody stuff is private, like as it should be.
Yeah.
Like,
And we wouldn't be talking about that anyway.
yeah, and like my only hope at this point is that like they all get therapy and lots of family support and go live on like happy lives.
Yeah.
As much as they possibly can, and I hope Jody has to pay out a bunch of shit. But I haven't seen anything other than that. I think now that they're in prison, we're not going to see anything for a hot minute.
Yeah.
I think only conversations will come up when it comes up for their like release time or approaching release time. So it's like nothing that I've seen at this point. Like they're just chilling in prison.
Orange alert.
Somebody
Orange
asked
alert
about,
for Jody and Ruby's jumpsuits and for this little kitty.
literally. Somebody asked about Chad. I mean, I don't really feel the benefit of talking about Chad
No,
because
there's-
he's an adult. He's living his own life. He's been freaking traumatized. Like, I don't want to like put him on blast any more than he already has been. So like, I feel bad.
I
So
think
like,
he
I don't
needs-
think we'll ever cover anything with Chad because I just feel like the damn kids deserve privacy. And like, it's fine if he's deciding to like post things or if like he wants to be on Snapchat, then I'm like, you know, dude, get
Or
that
playing
bag,
some
like
Fortnite and
whatever. I don't care.
Fielding questions for donations.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter to me. I mean, honestly, the kids have gone through so much. I don't really care how they process it as long as they're not harming anybody else. And so you'll probably not see us cover Chad or the kids again. So
Yeah. I think he needs
So
a better
there's that.
role model based on some of the stuff I've been seeing, but you know.
I mean, he
whatever.
was raised by Ruby and Kevin. What do you expect?
Oh my God. Jen, do you still need us to model those shirts? I have been enjoying it, but I don't put it on anywhere that could be in public for fear that we leak something. Sorry
Well,
if you
it
guys
is
have announced
available
it.
at fourthwall.com.
It is available at fourthwall.com. Is it fourthwall.com/Fundy Fridays? I would like to know. Also, Livy earlier said that there were missionaries running like a 5K or something like that. That's wild.
That's interesting.
Were they old enough to be like married? That would make more sense, but missionaries participating in a 5K, we've lost the fucking plot when it comes to missionaries.
They really have.
You'll post some. Okay, I'll go.
Oh, no, we were not talking about Chad Daybell. We were talking about Chad Frankie.
Yeah, Chad Frankie. Chad Daybell got the death penalty.
That was another thing people asked us about.
Yeah,
We love that for him.
you just tuned in and was wondering how Chad Daybell got Snapchat in prison. Honestly, Chad Daybell looks like the kind of guy that would be on Snapchat doing things he shouldn't.
Honestly, though.
Jen, you designed the shirt to be at boob level with your cheekbones because that's genius. That's funny.
Let's see.
We need
what
metal
else is
shirt
in
fashion
here?
show for Fundy Fridays. Oh, I will be serving. I interacted with some missionaries here in Philly. It was a trip. Oh my God. I put this on our Instagram story a couple weeks ago, but we went to Jordan's checkup appointment, her post-op appointment a couple weeks ago. And afterward, we went to Raising Cane's, and we were just getting ready to leave. And I went over to the soda fountain to refill before we were there. And I was doing it with Kazoo. And so I was busy doing it. And Jordan was probably staring daggers at me.
Uh-huh.
But all of a sudden, I put the lid on my cup and I turn this way to turn around and look toward Jordan. And there's like a crowd of like 4 missionary companionships that had just come in. And the look on my face was probably something like, as I looked over at Jordan, and she just cracked up.
I wish I would have recorded it. It was so funny.
It's funny.
Because that's not a normal thing that you see in Colorado. Like in Utah, you run into missionaries all the time because they're everywhere. But in Colorado, it's not. That's the first time I've seen missionaries like in a public place. Can you stop putting your tail in my mouth? Since we got here.
We just got Raising Cane's and Dutch Bros like 10 minutes from my job. That's dope. We're supposed to get a Dutch Bros pretty soon here, but we still are yet to get a Raising Cane's close by.
So that was another thing that people
Cane's
had
hits
put in the question box, was this whole jazz player groomed by his Mormon babysitter thing. I have not like dove into it too deeply yet. There was actually like a journalist that we interviewed for like a long time ago actually sent it to me because she was like, what the fuck is this? You have to look at this. So I haven't got the chance to read it yet, but it sounds bizarre as hell. Like, she's obviously way older than him, and by like a lot, that like she used to babysit him and now they're together. That's concerning.
That's a little concerning.
That's concerning. So
even James messaged me about it.
So maybe we need to do a
probably
video
have
on
look
it.
into it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we will.
I don't know. I want to be careful with it because I don't know how Mormon stories did it, but I guess there was a lot of criticism for the way that they did it. So
Oh, really?
maybe I should see what they were doing.
Yeah, I haven't.
Before I do that.
Like, I just skimmed the article very quickly and was like, that's gross. Okay. Let's not. So that is, I mean, it's interesting no less, and it's usually the other way around, like gender wise. So that's kind of bizarre in and of itself.
Back on the missionary topic, I wish they would knock on our door, but the only Mormons that knock on our door is the fucking solar guy who can't read English, apparently, because we have a no soliciting sign right there, and he does it anyway, like 6 times a week.
Stop.
Why
Maloney?
are you scratching
Just scratch the monitor.
screen?
What do you need? Do you want to sit on him? Is that why you're upset? Come on.
Come here. Are you lashing out? Oh, don't put those mitts on me right now.
You're supposed to go this way.
Oh, you better be careful with that booty hole. You're going to get us taken off the air.
Demonetized, baloney.
Ah! Gentle.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Apparently he was needing some attention. Let's see. Anything else that we can cover in 8 minutes? Some people asked about Nara Smith. I'm not sure if we'll cover her or not.
I'd made a mention earlier.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you mentioned that. There are Mormon Olympians this year. That was one of the questions that we got. I looked it up, and of course there was an article about it.
Will you send the article? We can look at it. It's kind of funny the way that the Mormons deal with athletes in the public eye, because there are essentially like one of two routes. And it's kind of depending on the whole how in the public eye they are. For instance, a lot of times we get people like Coach Reed for the Kansas City Chiefs, who, when he went to church the day of the Super Bowl, and even the year previously, where there was a baby blessing that he joined in on the day of the Super Bowl, it breaks the Mormon internet, and they love that because he's practicing Mormon principles. He's keeping the Sabbath as best he can while also being a representative of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They love that so much, they eat that up. And then when you have people more like on the world stage, like Michaela Skinner, they kind of are digging for those little things. Notably, they won't mention that Michaela Skinner was not competing in things that were on Sundays.
Yep.
Because I bet she was.
Yeah, no way.
They will dig for other things, which will come up in the video. But let me pull this up. Did you send
I
it to me?
texted it to you.
Cool.
I also noticed that the Church News rebranded their website to
It's
be
just
a
Church
living record
News?
of the
Oh
restoration.
my God. Get over yourselves.
Okay.
Get over yourselves.
Okay.
No one cares. How about that?
Okay.
Let me throw this on the screen for y'all. This was the title, so I guess at this point it's clickbait. But we're getting to it. We're here. We're here, everybody. An early look at Latter-day Saint athletes going to the Paris Olympic Games. Kenneth Brooks, returned missionary and former NCAA champion at BYU, won the 3,000-meter steeplechase at the U.S. Olympic trials and will likely make the team.
Someone said, do famous athletes get a pass in the Garmies thing like the mommy influencers do?
Yes.
In essence, I feel like it's kind of the only valid thing that the church will like make an exception for somebody in the public eye, because like for influencers it's like unofficial. It's like unofficial, you don't have to wear garments because they're not going to say anything about it.
Yeah.
But with like public facing athletes, it's like, yeah, obviously garments are not going to be like athlete friendly. And I think, in my opinion, I think the church pro cons it because I think they realized that it would make them look very dated and weird if they were going to make the athletes wear garments during the games, because they would obviously be the only ones wearing that, and that's weird.
I mean,
so
not
I think
even
it would draw negative attention that they don't want.
Not even at BYU do they make an exception, and the outfits for like the cheerleaders and things like of that nature are not accommodating the garments either. Cardigan, but it's garments. And when I felt like I was an old garment under my wife's bed, she put it on and said, "It represents the priesthood."
Oh my god. So
Anyway.
there's a few. There were not any people, like, no offense to these people, but not any people that I recognized. Nobody I think is up there. Like, I feel like the gymnastics girls are always like well recognized.
Well, I feel like in some of these, like 3,000 meter steeplechase,
Lots
I
of
don't
these
even know
running
what that
events,
event is.
like I don't pay
But
attention
when you
to
think
these.
of fast people, there's only one person, one Olympian that you have in mind thinking about fast runners.
True.
So really nobody else comes even. Name one other really fast runner.
Yeah.
That's not Usain Bolt. James Corrigan, is that the same guy?
There's Kenneth Rooks.
Rooks.
There's James Corrigan, return missionary.
Megan Hunter.
And then Megan Hunter, who's another like runner, track field type. And then the javelin was the only other one I saw was. Oh, there was a basketball one, former basketball star Jimmer
Jimmer.
Fredette.
You don't know Jennifer Fredette?
We talked about that earlier, didn't we?
He was such a big deal when he was playing basketball for BYU before his.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I didn't even know that he'd come back and played basketball, because I thought essentially his mission was the nail in the coffin for his career playing basketball.
But USA basketball's first ever 3-on-3 on the Olympic team. Didn't know that was a thing. But
Yeah.
apparently that's new.
Apparently that's a thing now.
And then another woman runner steeplechase, I think.
Is this just U.S. Olympians?
I think so. I couldn't find anything
Okay.
else. Could not
I had
find
seen
anything
an
else.
article from the previous Olympics where they were highlighting international LDS Olympians. There's no shot that a worldwide church does not have any other Olympians competing from other countries, because they in previous years they had highlighted those other Olympians from other countries.
Yeah.
Or maybe well, at least, yeah. What the fuck? Of course, they're only doing the white folks. Of course.
Anyhow.
Should I be surprised? No. Am I still going to be annoyed by it? Yes. Hannah.
My partner's interested in a video on the BYU Law School because apparently 10% of BYU law students get federal clerkships. Oh, yeah. The feds love Mormons.
Oh, they love Mormons.
They love Mormons. They recruit at BYU like nobody's business.
Oh, yeah.
Like, FBI recruits Mormons, like, specifically and intentionally.
I can't remember what the dude's name was, but essentially the guy who greenlit the whole torture's okay at Guantanamo Bay was a Mormon.
That makes sense.
So,
Because they are very much, like,
or maybe he was the one who was, I can't remember what he was.
like, crime, punishment, like, atone for your sins. Repent sometimes includes punishing for your behavior.
A term we used to use in my mission was obedience with exactness.
Yes, that. Well, you know, they don't lie. They're very diligent.
Well,
they're
and
responsible.
Especially for the State Department. Earlier in the stream, if you haven't seen it, right at the beginning of the stream we were showing how intertwined the idea of Mormonism makes itself seem within like American history and even pre-American history.
Yeah.
So the idea is woven into, or the idea of patriotism is woven into the Mormon fabric so much that they're like, oh yeah, these people will do the absolute most for this country,
America. Yep.
even if it's something that is like really heinous in the case of the
Yep.
Guantanamo Bay guy. So
Yeah, well, that's why think about Utah legislature is primarily Mormon. Like,
yeah,
there's
it's
encouragement to get.
disproportionately Mormon.
Yeah.
even.
I mean, you're encouraged to pursue education. Like, military and criminal justice are respected professions and held in high esteem.
Orrin Hatch's
Ugh.
name was all over MK Ultra documents that still exist. That's crazy.
Orrin Hatch, man. What a
Orrin
terrible
Hatch. I was thinking of him. They renamed the McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas to Harry Reid International Airport, and Harry Reid was a Mormon. I remember because at least he was like a Democrat, because we all fucking hated Harry Reid when he was in, because he didn't fall in line with all the other Mormon politicians.
Hi, Heather and Kimchi and your cute new cat that I forgot the name of.
We're live, baby.
I mean, we're about to get off because we went on here for 2 hours, but
Yes, my sensory issues could never with garments. Let me tell you.
that is common the experience of many people.
Yeah, the underarms of my garments when I was on my mission, they all turned brown because
Well, it's like bright
the
white.
dirt was fused with the sweat in that fabric. And yeah, they get dingy and awful. And I think I've brought this up before, but I would wear the garment when I was working at a tire shop, and it was so suffocating that I would break out in like a heat rash all over my chest and my stomach, to the point where I was like, I can't wear it when I go to work because I will scratch my skin off of my flesh.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they're awful. They're the worst. Orrin Hatch cares about endometriosis awareness, apparently.
That's interesting.
He's probably the only man his age that even knows what the word endometriosis is, if that's the case. Man, specifically.
Yeah.
OG
JCN?
Jason with the $50
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
super chat. We love you. Thank you both for being such amazing voices, for both educating and understanding such complex issues and bringing awareness to the surface. We love the streams.
That's so kind. Thank you.
We appreciate you. It's
Fiona. That's what the name of the kitty is.
Fiona.
She's been to the emergency vet twice in 2 weeks.
I
We need good
remember.
vibes. She's only 11 weeks old. Oh.
You put a thing in when I did my AMA, and I didn't come back to a lot of them. I was going to come back to a bunch of them in the morning because I got tired and distracted after I made that food. But we hope everybody send good thoughts to Fiona.
Poor thing.
I can't believe Fiona's still not doing good.
Oh, poor baby. Okay. Okay. I think that's everything. Nothing else that we could cover in the time we have anyway.
Any short? No short little ones.
Make sure to go follow us on Instagram,
Hell yeah.
like I've asked so kindly.
So to recap upcoming stuff,
Oh yeah.
we don't have a sponsor to wait on this week, so we should be able to get the Michaela Skinner video up
This week.
Hopefully Wednesday or Thursday is what we're planning on. And then July 31st, mark your calendars, all of the patrons, all of the members, we're going to do a watch party of some classic Mormon comedies. You can see them better on this side, I guess. We'll put up a poll soon on what we want to watch.
So you guys will get to
And
pick.
It will be on Discord, so please, if you are wanting to participate in that and you're having trouble with Discord, let us help you now. So
Yeah.
so it's not like, we're trying to figure it out right before.
And chaos.
Which is probably what we'll do when we have the watch party and we're having technical difficulties. But if we can keep the technical difficulties to just us, that would be great.
Exactly. Thank you, Julie. You're
Julie
always
with the
here,
9 months.
and we appreciate you. I think that covers it. Follow us on Instagram at Jordan and McKay. Hit the like button. Thank you for being here on our road to almost 100K.
Comedy being used in the broadest sense possible. I'm being as generous as
Literally.
I can. There are some genuinely funny things, but probably not for the reason that they were intended to be funny.
Sage, happy non-binary week and Disability Pride Month, everyone.
Yo, shout out. Happy non-binary. Shout out to our non-binary folks. We love you. I don't care if it's not Pride Month anymore. We can still be proud of our non-binary disabled fam. Let's go.
Out our
And all the
yachts
disability
for the
pride.
Rizzler. Thank you, Hannah.
Sticking out your yacht for the... Okay, anyway, we're going to say goodnight finally.
Our kid's koala bear.
Yeah, he doesn't even sleep with. Oh, a little, just right before, we got a little stuffed pica for him when we went to Rocky Mountain National Park. All the other stuffies, put them away, bitch. This little pica
City.
stuffy is his favorite thing. It's so funny. Anyway, we love you.
We'll see you later.
We'll see you later. Grid bless. Grid night. Bye.
Bye.